and Good Queen Bess, a short play by Colin Mattox. People in the play. Queen Elizabeth, female 60, the Queen of England, proper but headstrong. Grace O'Malley, female 63, the head of an Irish clan, weathered by battle, stubborn, does not suffer fools. Setting, a palace in England. There are two chairs, one stage right and one stage left. They face each other. The door is off right. It's the 1600s, but it looks modern. Lights up on the palace. Elizabeth sits in the stage left chair. She wears an elegant crown. After a moment, Grace enters from stage right. She is dressed well, but significantly less fancy than Elizabeth. Grace crosses to the stage right chair, but does not sit.
So, you're Elizabeth then?
I am Queen Elizabeth I, yes. Usually you kneel.
Usually.
Yes. Usually you kneel before the Queen.
Oh, is it usually you kneel before the Queen?
Yes, usually.
Well, that is interesting. Different cultures and all that.
Different cultures. I should say we belong to the same.
Should you say? Well, I say I don't have a queen.
Excuse me.
I say that you're the Queen of England and that's all great with that. Good for you. But I'm not English. I'm Irish. And Ireland doesn't have a queen.
You have been raiding the Crown settlements.
And since Ireland has no queen, the clans are what we are governed by. And as the head of one of those clans, when you send some of your stuffy English lords over, saying that the land that the O'Malley clan has lived on and worked on for generations are settlements of the crown, well, that's when there's a raiding.
You're talking about treason.
Well, not really, Elizabeth.
You are to address me as Your Highness.
Elizabeth, I'm talking about due rebellion. I'm the head of my family, and when someone takes our lands, it is my duty to take them back and send the message that they're ours. Me not doing that, that's treason.
I had hoped you could come here and we could speak diplomatically, but that is perhaps too lofty a concept for you.
Diplomatically? Me not sending you your lord's heads in the nice baskets your favourite ladies weave, but coming here instead? That's diplomacy. And you should know now, Bess, that I can pull you off your lofty spot any time I choose.
And you should know, Grace, that I can have my guards here and your head on a pike with a flick of my wrist.
That's what I like to hear.
Now will you sit?
Now I will.
You came here to parley in the interest of being a good host. I ask you to state your permission.
Right. It's simple. If you agree that there will be no more English settlements in the west of Ireland and grant the O'Malley clan its lands back, I pledge that I will carry out no more raids. And you can rest assured that I'm a woman of my word.
A woman of her word. I don't know if I've ever heard that.
Suppose there aren't many chances to see it and hear it.
And if I refuse?
That would be foolish.
Go ahead and break it down for me.
If you refuse, we will continue raiding until there is no more English feet on Irish soil and no more English ships in Irish waters. And as a woman of my word, you can be sure that when I set my mind to it, that's exactly what will happen.
Often I would applaud someone for saying what you're saying. I wish there were lords and knights with your heart, I truly do. But you're talking about killing lords and knights, and I would not be a good queen if I let that go.
Well, now I'm no expert, But wouldn't a good queen try and keep her lords and knights from being killed?
Wouldn't a good clan leader try and keep her clan from being killed?
Oh, you're very good. But there's a difference there, Bess. I lead my clan to kill and die so they can take back what's ours. Your lords will kill and die taking something that doesn't belong to them.
Do you want to go to war?
Do you?
You have men in your clan.
Yes, just as you have men in your army and men for guards.
And they follow you and listen to you. A woman?
For the most part. Don't yours follow you?
In spite of themselves. You have a fine head of hair.
Thank you. So do you.
Well, I'm just curious because they call you the Bald Grace. Is this some kind of translation issue?
No, the bald means bald. My father was a seafaring man. Fishing, that's how we ate. Sure, he could send any number of men out for the fish, but he said that a head of a clan should be with his people. Not that I was supposed to hear that. So he went out with them. One day he was taking my brothers out on the sea with him. One of them younger than myself. I might have been 10. And I asked if I could go with them all for the fishing. And all the boys laughed at me. My father said I couldn't go because girls weren't allowed on the ships. Their hair would get caught in the anchors. So I pulled out my knife and I chopped off my hair, all of it, and I marched my way onto the ship. And that's why Bold Grace. I've heard talk of your father.
And I of yours.
They say he was a fine man for the women and the wine, not much for the king. And
I hear yours was an ally of the crown, not much for the rebelling.
yet look upon their girls.
I never met my father. I don't think he wanted me. He already had a daughter. He wanted a boy. And after that whole business with my mother.
Business with your mother?
Oh, you know, the beheading.
Jesus.
People were so against my taking the throne. Had to be passed to a man, they always said. And when there was no man left, there I was. And here I am.
And here I am with you.
Were you taught to hate the English?
I was taught to protect what's mine. Were you taught to look down upon the Irish?
I was taught to fight my enemies.
Well, now we know where we both come from. So where are we going?
You will stop raiding. As there will be no more English on O'Malley lands. You are free to lead your clan autonomously, and so long as you never raise a fist against me, you will never be forced from your home.
Why?
Why?
Why are you doing this?
As I said, I was taught to fight my enemies, and you, Bald Grace, are no more my enemy than I am my own.
You'll forgive me for saying that I don't trust you.
I wouldn't ask for it, as I don't trust you.
So, after this, you'll go out to your throne room with your lords and all those men, and I'll go back across the sea to a clan full of men, and we'll tell our stories to them what happened here between us. What do you think they'll say? After hearing of us two biddies trading stories and coming to the solution that will betray our people?
You think we're betraying our people?
I think our people will think we are.
Our people. Men.
Suppose so, yes.
Well, I would ask when we've ever cared what they think. Are you married?
I am.
And you have children?
I do.
Boys or girls?
I have 3 sons and a daughter.
3 sons.
What about it?
I just wonder, who becomes head of your clan when you die?
My oldest son.
Ah, yes. Those lords who seem so loyal to me. They're waiting for me to die, so they can all make a grab for the throne. I don't have any children. My line dies with me. You have legacy. There will be girls, women with your name. They'll think back on you and be proud. There will never be another queen like me. And I suppose I should take some pride in that. But what is it all for if after I'm gone, things are just as they were?
Am I to answer that?
I don't think so. These are just things I think about.
Am I free to leave? I want to be with the kind winds.
Yes, of course.
Kneeling and bowing doesn't suit me. Maybe I'm just stubborn. I will give you something that holds more weight in my corner of the world. My thanks for listening to a rogue of a woman and for not chopping off my head.
And I thank you, bold Grace.
Grace begins to exit stage right and stops.
Do you know what?
What?
Your question a moment ago. What was this all for? What we've done? Sure, you can say it's for my legacy. Young girls chopping their hair off, but I don't know if I buy that. I'll be dead when that happens. Both of us will be. It's for us now. Isn't that more important than what'll be there when you're not? I'm off then. Goodbye, Queen Bess.
Goodbye, bold Grace.
Grace exits stage right. Elizabeth sits alone. Lights fade to blackout.